Let us begin by finding a place of quiet. Let the noise of the day fade away like the retreating tide leaving a smooth, silent shore. Imagine, for a moment, that you are standing in a wide, open field. The grass is cool beneath your feet, and the air is still. Above you, the sky has turned from the deep indigo of twilight to the absolute, velvety black of true night. The stars are not just points of light, they are a canopy, a vast, breathing ocean of diamond dust scattered across the infinite dark. You look up, and you feel the immense weight of the galaxy arching over you. It is beautiful, it is silent, and it is filled with secrets. For as long as humanity has had eyes to see and minds to wonder, we have looked at this glittering expanse and asked a single haunting question: are we alone? Is this blue marble, this fragile sphere of water and stone, the only place where rain falls, where wind rustles through leaves, where eyes open to see the dawn? For centuries, the answer was silence. We saw only the wandering planets of our own system. Mars with its red dust, Jupiter with its storms, Saturn with its rings. Beyond them, the stars were just distant fires, too far to touch, too bright to reveal what might be hiding in their glow. But the universe is patient. It waits for us to be ready to see, and now we are beginning to see. Imagine looking through a telescope, not one made of glass and metal sitting in a backyard, but a great eye floating in the silence of space. It stares unblinkingly at a patch of sky in the constellation of Cygnus, the Swan. It watches the light of thousands of stars, waiting for the tiniest dip, the faintest shadow. And there, circling a star that looks so much like our own sun that you might mistake it for home, is a world. It is not a gas giant swirling with toxic clouds. It is not a frozen block of ice far from the warmth. It is a world of rock, a world of clouds, a world that, if you were to float above it, would reflect the deep, soothing blue of an ocean. There is a planet that looks exactly like Earth. Let that thought settle in your mind. Somewhere, 1,400 light-years away, a distance that defies comprehension, yet is just a stone's throw in the cosmic scale, there is a sunrise happening right now. The light of a yellow G-type star is cresting over a horizon that curves just like ours. It spills golden light across a landscape that might have mountains, valleys, and coastlines. This is Kepler 452b, often called Earth's older cousin. But it is more than just a cousin, it is a mirror. To understand the beauty of this place, we must first travel there in our minds. We must leave the comfort of our solar system. Imagine rising up from the Earth, floating higher and higher until the cities become webs of light, and then fading into the darkness. The moon slides past, silent and grey. Mars is a red ember behind us. We pass the great giants, Jupiter and Saturn, and finally, we cross the threshold of interstellar space. We drift for ages in the silence. The stars around us shift, their patterns changing as we move deeper into the galaxy. And then, we approach it. At first, it is just a speck of light. But as we draw closer, the star grows brighter. It is warm. It shines with the same reassuring spectrum as the sun we know. And there, suspended in the blackness, is the planet. It is bigger than Earth, perhaps 60% larger, a super-Earth. Its gravity would feel stronger, holding you firmly to the ground. But the view is breathtakingly familiar. From orbit, you see the swirl of white clouds driven by atmospheric currents. Beneath them, you see the distinct separation of land and sea. It is not a barren rock. It is a world of complexity. The atmosphere here is thick, protecting the surface, scattering the starlight into a soft blue canopy. This planet orbits its star at a distance almost identical to Earth's orbit around the Sun. Its year is 385 days long. Just 20 days longer than ours. If you lived there, the rhythm of time would feel almost exactly the same. The seasons would come and go with the same gentle cadence. Spring would melt the ice, summer would warm the land, autumn would turn the forests, if they exist, into gold, and winter would bring the quiet sleep of snow. It is a world that has existed for 6 billion years. That is 1.5 billion years longer than Earth. It is an elder world. It has bathed in the warmth of its star for eons, long before dinosaurs walked the earth, long before the first fish crawled onto the mud. What has happened on this planet during all those long, silent millennia? As we float above it, looking down at the familiar blue and white, we are struck by a profound sense of connection. We are not looking at an alien monstrosity. We are looking at a reflection. It is as if the universe, in its infinite creativity, decided to paint a masterpiece and then, liking it so much, decided to paint it again across the gallery of the stars. The existence of such a world changes how we feel about the night sky. It is no longer a cold, empty void. It is a neighborhood. When you look up at the constellation of Cygnus, you are not looking at random lights. You are looking toward a place where, perhaps, another being is looking back. Maybe they are standing on a shoreline, listening to the rhythmic crash of waves that sound exactly like the waves of the Pacific or the Atlantic. The water is liquid, salty, and cool. The sand is grainy beneath their feet. The breeze carries the scent of rain. They look up at their night sky, which is filled with different stars than ours, and they wonder if they are alone. They cannot see us. We are too small, too dim, lost in the glare of our sun. But we are here, and they are there. Two islands of life, or at least the potential for life, separated by the vast ocean of space, yet identical in their beauty. This is the promise of the cosmos. It is the promise that we are not a mistake, or a fluke, or a solitary accident. The conditions that created us, the delicate balance of gravity, heat, and chemistry, are not unique. They are universal. As we linger here in orbit around this distant twin, watching the shadow of night creep across its continents, we feel a sense of peace. The universe is hospitable. It creates homes. It creates sanctuaries. The darkness of space is not empty. It is pregnant with possibility. Every star is a sun. Every sun is a hearth. And around countless hearths, there are worlds waiting to be found, worlds that wear the colors of Earth like a familiar coat. We rest here for a moment, suspended in the gravity of this beautiful, distant world. We let the image of it fill our minds, a second blue marble, spinning silently in the dark. It is a beacon of hope. It tells us that the universe is not a chaotic storm, but a garden. And in a garden, flowers of the same kind often grow in different beds, separated by distance, but sharing the same nature, the same need for light, the same thirst for water. We are looking at a planet that looks exactly like Earth. And in doing so, we are seeing the first true reflection of ourselves in the cosmic mirror. Part 2. The Goldilocks Paradox. To find a twin, one must understand what makes the original unique. Why is Earth the way it is? Why is it not a burning furnace like Venus, choked by thick clouds of acid and heat? Why is it not a frozen, desolate desert like Mars, where the dust storms rage over rusted craters? The answer lies in a concept that is as simple as a fairy tale and as complex as astrophysics. It is called the Goldilocks zone. Imagine a campfire burning in the middle of a cold, dark night. If you stand too close to the fire, the heat is unbearable. Your skin scorches and you have to step back. This is the fate of planets like Mercury or Venus. They hug their stars too tightly. Their water, if they ever had any, boiled away eons ago into steam and was lost to space. The ground is baked hard. The rocks are soft with heat. There is no comfort there, only the relentless, punishing glare of the sun. Now, imagine you walk far away from the campfire, out into the deep shadows. The light of the fire is just a distant flicker. The warmth does not reach you. You shiver. Ice forms on your coat. This is the realm of the outer planets, the gas giants and the icy moons. Here, water exists, but it is locked away, frozen hard as granite. It is a world of stasis, preserved in the eternal deep freeze of the void. But there is a space in between. A narrow, fragile band around the fire where the temperature is just right. You are not burning and you are not freezing. You can stand there and feel the gentle warmth on your face. This is the habitable zone. This is where Earth swims. And this is where we found our twin. For a planet to look like Earth, to really, truly look like Earth, it must reside in this delicate embrace. It is not enough to be made of rock. It is not enough to have an atmosphere. It must have the magic ingredient that defines our existence: liquid water. Water is the artist of our world. It carved the Grand Canyon. It filled the basins of the oceans. It sculpted the glaciers and painted the clouds. Without the precise temperature to keep water fluid, drifting between the solid ice and the gaseous steam, a planet cannot look like Earth. It would look like a billiard ball of grey rock or a blinding white sphere of ice. The planet we are visiting, this Earth cousin, sits perfectly within this zone. It receives almost the exact same amount of energy from its star as Earth receives from the Sun. This means that on its surface, water can flow. Rivers can meander through valleys, cutting paths through the soil. Lakes can reflect the sky. Rain can fall in soft, rhythmic showers that nourish the ground. It is a profound realization. The specific beauty of Earth is a result of thermal precision. Our blue oceans are blue because they are liquid. Our white clouds are white because they are water vapor condensing in a breathable atmosphere. The green of our forests is a response to the specific wavelength of light that filters through our air. If Kepler 452b looks like Earth, it is because it follows the same laws of physics, the same thermal dynamics. It suggests that the recipe for a living world is not a secret, solitary formula, but a standard template of the universe. But looking like Earth goes beyond just temperature. It is about the star itself. Our Sun is a yellow dwarf star, a G2V star. It is steady. It is calm. It does not flare violently like the erratic red dwarfs that populate much of the galaxy. Red dwarfs are common, but they are tempestuous parents. They blast their planets with radiation, stripping away atmospheres, sterilizing the surface. A planet orbiting a red dwarf might be in the habitable zone, but it would not look like Earth. The light would be dim and crimson. The plants, if they existed, might be black or deep purple to absorb the weak light. But the star of our twin is a G-type star, just like ours. It is virtually a duplicate of the Sun. This means the light that falls on the surface of Kepler 452b is the same creamy, white-yellow light that falls on a summer afternoon in Tuscany or a morning in Kyoto. The shadows would look the same. The colors of the rocks and the water would be rendered in the same visible spectrum. If you were to stand on the surface of this planet, your eyes would not need to adjust. The sky would likely be blue. This is because of Rayleigh scattering, the way gas molecules in an atmosphere scatter the blue light from a yellow star. A familiar star creates a familiar sky. There is a deep psychological comfort in this. We are creatures of the light. We evolved under this specific sun. Our circadian rhythms, our vision, our very mood is tied to the cycle of this G-type star. To know that there is another world bathed in this same light feels like discovering a second home. However, there is a subtle difference, a gentle reminder of the passage of time. The star of Kepler 452b is older. It is 6 billion years old compared to our Sun's 4.5 billion. It is slightly larger, slightly brighter, evolved further along its lifespan. This gives us a glimpse into our own future. In 1 billion years, our Sun will grow a little brighter, just as this distant star has. Looking at this planet is like looking at a crystal ball. We are seeing Earth as it might be in the distant future, aged but still beautiful, still holding on to its water, still clinging to life. The concept of the Earth twin also relies on the invisible shield, the magnetic field. Deep inside Earth, there is a churning core of molten iron. It spins and flows, creating a vast magnetic bubble that surrounds our planet. This bubble deflects the harmful solar wind, the stream of charged particles that would otherwise strip away our atmosphere. Mars lost its magnetic field long ago, and its atmosphere was blown away, leaving it cold and dead. For a planet to look like Earth, to keep its blue oceans and its white clouds, it likely needs this magnetic heart. We cannot see the core of Kepler 452b, but its size suggests it is active. It is large enough to still be hot inside, to still have that protective dynamo spinning in the deep. So, we have a world of rock, warming itself by a steady yellow fire, protected by an invisible shield and covered in the thin, fragile skin of an atmosphere. It is a system of immense complexity, where every part relies on the other. The distance from the star controls the heat, the gravity holds the air allows the water, the magnetic field protects the air. It is a precarious balance, a Goldilocks paradox. It seems so rare, so difficult to achieve, and yet the universe is so vast that even the rarest things happen millions of times. We often think of space as hostile, and it is. It is full of radiation, vacuum, and extreme temperatures. But it also contains these pockets of serenity, these oases. Think of the timeline of discovery. For thousands of years, we only knew of one oasis, our own. Then, in the last few decades, we opened our eyes. We built the Kepler Space Telescope. We launched it into the dark, and it stared at the stars, measuring the tiny dips in brightness caused by planets crossing in front of their suns. It found thousands of worlds, hot Jupiters, mini Neptunes, lava worlds, ice worlds. But among the noise, among the strange and the hostile, it found the signal of the twin. It was a quiet signal, just a periodic dimming of a distant star repeating every 385 days. Clockwork, reliable, gentle. The data came back to Earth as a stream of numbers. But when scientists processed those numbers, when they translated the binary code into reality, the picture that emerged was unmistakable. It was the silhouette of a world that shouldn't feel alien to us. It validates the idea that Earth is not a fluke. The universe is in the business of making Earths. It gathers dust and gas, spins it into a disk, ignites a star in the center, and then, in the perfect middle ground, it coalesces the dust into rock, brings in the comets to deliver water, and lets the light do the rest. As we ponder the Goldilocks paradox, we realize that just right is not an exception, it is a category. There are likely billions of planets in our galaxy alone that reside in this habitable zone. But finding one that matches us in size, in star type, in orbit. That is the special joy of Kepler 452b. It represents the potential for parallel histories. If the stage is set exactly the same, did the play unfold in the same way? Did simple cells form in the primordial oceans of that world 4 billion years ago? Did they learn to harvest the light of their sun, turning the atmosphere rich with oxygen? Did plants colonize the continents, turning the brown rock into a carpet of green? We do not know, not yet. But the stage is lit, the props are in place, the lighting is perfect, the temperature is set. The planet hangs there in the Cygnus constellation, a silent monument to the possibility of life. It circles its star, day after day, year after year, indifferent to our observation, yet crucial to our understanding of ourselves. We are not just looking for a planet, we are looking for a context. We are trying to understand if the story of Earth is a monologue, spoken into the void, or a dialogue, shared with countless other worlds that look just like ours. The Goldilocks zone is not just a region of space, it is a region of hope. It is the band of the sky where dreams can take root. And there, 1400 light-years away, the dream has a physical form. It has mass, it has gravity, it has a horizon. It is the twin we have always waited for, spinning silently in the warm glow of a familiar star. Part 3. The Bridge of Light. The universe is a place of infinite silence, but it is also a place of infinite history. When we look up at the night sky, we are not looking at the present, we are looking at the past. The light that touches our eyes is a traveler, a messenger that has crossed the great dark ocean of space to reach us. And the journey from our twin, Kepler 452b, is a journey of 1400 years. 1400 years. Let us pause and feel the weight of that number. It is not just a measure of time, it is a measure of the vast, unbridgeable chasm that lies between our two worlds. The light we see from that star tonight, the light that reveals the presence of that planet, left its surface when Earth was a very different place. When that photon of light began its journey, springing from the surface of the distant star, bouncing off the clouds of Kepler 452b and heading out into the void, humanity was in the midst of the early Middle Ages. In Europe, the great empires of antiquity had fallen. Kings and queens were forging new realms in the mist. In the Americas, the Maya civilization was building its great stone temples, mapping the stars with naked eyes, unaware that a beam of light from a world like their own had just begun its voyage toward them. While that light traveled through the empty silence, crossing the first 100 light years, the Tang dynasty rose in China, bringing an age of poetry and art. As the light continued, crossing the deep spiral arms of the Milky Way, the Vikings set sail in their longships, navigating the cold Atlantic by the guidance of the very stars that hid our twin. Centuries rolled by like waves on a shore. The light traveled on, unwavering, indifferent to the rise and fall of civilizations. It passed through clouds of interstellar dust. It dodged the gravity of wandering black holes. It flew past nebulae where new stars were being born, screaming into existence in clouds of gas. On Earth, the printing press was invented. The new world was connected to the old. The steam engine hissed into life. We learned to fly. We split the atom. We built our own rockets and touched the face of the moon. And still, the light traveled, rushing toward us at the speed of the cosmos. And finally, in our time, in this brief flickering moment of the present, that ancient light arrived. It fell into the lens of the Kepler Space Telescope, a tiny, faint signal whispering, "I am here." This distance is a barrier, yes. It means we cannot go there. To travel to Kepler 452b with our fastest current spacecraft would take over 26 million years. By the time we arrived, humanity would be gone, evolved into something else or forgotten entirely. The continents of Earth would have drifted to new positions. The constellations would have shifted into new shapes. So, Kepler 452b is a ghost. It is a world we can see, but never touch. It is a destination we can dream of, but never reach. But there is a beauty in this isolation. It makes the planet a sanctuary. It is safe from us. It is safe from our noise, our interference, our need to conquer and claim. It exists in a bubble of perfect solitude, protected by the insurmountable wall of distance. Imagine standing on the surface of Kepler 452b right now. You look up at the night sky. You search for our sun. It would be a faint, dim star, indistinguishable from thousands of others. You would not know that around that tiny speck of light there is a blue world, teeming with 7 billion minds wondering about you. This disconnection reminds us of the scale of things. We are small. Our reach is limited. We are like children standing on the shore of a vast ocean, looking at an island on the horizon that we can never swim to. But just seeing the island changes us. It tells us the ocean is not empty. And even though we cannot travel there in bodies of flesh and bone, we can travel there in other ways. We can listen. Radio waves travel at the speed of light. If a civilization on Kepler 452b had invented radio 1400 years ago, their songs, their speeches, their news broadcasts would just be arriving at Earth today. We tune our great radio telescopes, the giant metal ears in our deserts, towards Cygnus. We listen to the static. Mostly, we hear the hum of the universe, the background radiation, the hiss of gas, the crackle of stars. But we listen with hope. We listen for a pattern, a rhythm, a sequence of prime numbers, anything that says we are here and we are thinking. So far, there has been only silence, but silence does not mean emptiness. It might simply mean that 1400 years ago, they were like us in the Middle Ages, lighting fires, telling stories, and looking at the stars in wonder, without the technology to shout across the void. Or perhaps they are far beyond radio. Perhaps they communicate in ways we cannot yet comprehend, using gravity waves or light pulses that look like natural shimmers to our primitive eyes. The bridge of light between us is a bridge of time. It connects the past of one world to the present of another. It is a tenuous, fragile link, maintained by the constant flow of photons. As we meditate on this distance, the anxiety of our daily lives begins to shrink. The problems that seem so large, the deadlines, the arguments, the rushing hours, evaporate in the face of 14 centuries of travel. The universe operates on a clock that ticks in millenniums. It teaches us patience. To look at Kepler 452b is to practice a form of cosmic archaeology. We are digging into the sky, uncovering a treasure that has been buried in the light for an eon. And even if we never hear a signal, even if we never see a ship land on those distant shores, the connection is real. We are bound by the same physics. We are warmed by the same type of fire. We are made of the same stardust. The calcium in our bones, the iron in our blood, the carbon in our cells. It is the same matter that forms the mountains and the oceans of that distant twin. Across the bridge of light we find a mirror. And though the image is 1400 years old, it is still a reflection of home. Part 4. The Weight of a Giant. Let us descend now from the void. Let us leave the silence of space and imagine, with the best scientific knowledge we have, what it would actually feel like to stand on the surface of Kepler 452b. This is not a duplicate of Earth in every way. It is Earth's super cousin. It is bigger. It is heavier. And this difference defines the entire experience of the world. Kepler 452b has a radius 60% larger than Earth. It is a giant ball of rock. Because of its massive size, it has a much stronger pull. Gravity here is different. If you were to step out of a spacecraft and onto the solid ground of this world, you would feel it immediately. You would feel heavy. Gravity on Kepler 452b is likely about twice as strong as on Earth. Imagine wearing a heavy backpack, one that weighs as much as you do. Every movement requires more effort. Lifting your arm to shield your eyes from the sun takes a deliberate thought. Taking a step feels like walking through shallow water. Your heart would have to beat stronger to pump blood up to your brain. The trees, if they exist, would likely be shorter and sturdier than the soaring redwoods or pines of Earth. They would be thick-trunked, built to withstand the relentless pull of the planet. They might look like great, spreading umbrellas hugging the ground, their roots digging deep into the dense soil. Animals, too, would be shaped by this gravity. You would not see giraffes with long, slender necks or gazelles with spindly legs. Life here would be low, robust, and powerful. Creatures might have 6 legs instead of 4 to distribute their weight. They might be broad and muscular, moving with a slow, deliberate grace. The birds would need immense wingspans to generate the lift needed to fly in the heavier pull, or perhaps the sky belongs only to the insects, small enough to cheat the gravity. But there is a gift in this heaviness. A planet with such strong gravity can hold onto a much thicker atmosphere. On Earth, our atmosphere is a thin veil. On Mars, it is a wisp. But on Kepler 452b, the air could be dense and rich. A thicker atmosphere means a more uniform climate. The heat from the star would be trapped and distributed efficiently around the globe. It is possible that this world does not have the extreme freezing poles of Earth. It might be a warm, temperate paradise from equator to pole, a greenhouse world where the temperature is always soft and mild. Imagine the sky. A thicker atmosphere scatters more light. The blue of the sky might be deeper, richer, bordering on violet near the zenith. The sunsets would be spectacular, long, lingering displays of crimson, purple, and gold that stretch for hours as the star dips below the horizon. And the weather. The weather on a super Earth would be majestic. With more air and more heat energy held in the system, the clouds could be massive. Imagine mountain ranges of white vapor towering miles into the sky, dwarfing the highest peaks of the Himalayas. The rain would not just fall, it would descend in warm, nourishing sheets. The sound of thunder in a dense atmosphere would be a deep, resonant boom that you would feel in your chest, a vibration of the very air itself. Geologically, this world is alive. A planet this size retains its internal heat for much longer than Earth. The core is hot, molten, and churning. This means volcanoes. But do not think of destruction. Think of renewal. Volcanoes are the planet's way of breathing. They release gases, carbon dioxide, water vapor that replenish the atmosphere. They bring fresh minerals from the deep up to the surface. The soil around these volcanic vents would be incredibly fertile, rich dark earth where life could explode in abundance. We might imagine vast chains of active volcanoes glowing softly in the night, a reminder of the powerful heart beating beneath the crust. The tectonic plates would be moving, shifting the continents, pushing up new mountains, constantly reshaping the face of the world over billions of years. This is a planet that is not finished. It is still creating itself. And what of the water? Kepler 452b is firmly in the habitable zone, so oceans are likely. But on a super-Earth, the oceans might be different. They could be shallower, but cover more of the surface, creating an archipelago world, a planet of 10,000 islands. Or they could be incredibly deep, vast abysses where strange, bioluminescent creatures glide in the high-pressure dark. The water itself would behave differently under the higher gravity. The waves might be lower, faster, slapping against the shore with a rhythmic urgency. Waterfalls would fall faster, hitting the pools below with tremendous force, kicking up eternal mists that feed the surrounding forests. Let us walk through one of these hypothetical forests. The ground is soft, covered in mosses that cushion your heavy steps. The air is thick and humid, smelling of wet stone and unknown flowers. The light filtering through the canopy is golden green. The plants here might not be green. On Earth, plants use chlorophyll to absorb sunlight, reflecting the green part of the spectrum. But on a world with a different atmosphere, evolution might have chosen a different path. Perhaps the vegetation here is red or purple, or even a dark, almost black hue to absorb every scrap of energy from the older star. Imagine a forest of violet leaves shimmering in the breeze. As the wind blows, a wind that pushes against you with the force of a solid object due to the thick air the forest sings. A dense atmosphere carries sound further and clearer than thin air. The rustling of the leaves would be a symphony. The calls of distant creatures would echo for miles. It is a noisy, vibrant, living world. We feel the solidity of it. This is not a fragile place. Earth is fragile. We worry about our atmosphere, our climate. But a super-Earth is robust. It has a grip on its atmosphere that is hard to break. It has a thermal inertia that resists change. It is a fortress of biology. Standing here, feeling the pull of the planet, watching the thick clouds drift across the deep blue sky, we realize that Earth-like does not mean Earth-identical. It means a variation on a theme. It is like hearing a song you know, but played by a full orchestra instead of a single guitar. The melody is the same. Water, rock, air, light. But the resonance is deeper, the volume louder, the impact more profound. Kepler 452b is Earth amplified. It is Earth with the volume turned up. And as the day ends on this heavy giant, as the older, slightly larger sun touches the horizon, the shadows stretch out long and stark. The temperature drops, but only slightly, the thick blanket of air holding the warmth close to the ground. The first stars appear, strange constellations we do not know, but one star in that sky would be special. If you knew exactly where to look with a powerful enough telescope, you might see a faint yellow dot, a quiet, unassuming star. Our sun. From this vantage point, resting on the soil of a super-Earth, we look back at ourselves. We realize that we are the alien world. We are the small, light, fragile rock. We are the ones living on the edge. This world, this giant, feels permanent. It feels eternal. It has spun here for 6 billion years, witnessing the silence of the galaxy. It waits. It endures. It carries the weight of its own existence with the effortless grace of a celestial body. To explore this world in our minds is to expand our understanding of what it means to be a planet. It is to respect the diversity of the cosmos. We are not the standard, we are just one example. And here, in the constellation of the Swan, is an example that dwarfs us in size and age, a big brother in the family of life, spinning quietly in the dark. Part 5. The elder world. Time is the invisible landscape. We cannot see it, we cannot touch it, but it shakes mountains more effectively than any hammer, and it carves canyons deeper than any river. When we look at Kepler 452b, we are not just looking at a place in space, we are looking at a deep reservoir of time. This planet is an elder. It has existed for 6 billion years. To understand what that means, we have to look at our own history. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. That gap, that difference of 1.5 billion years, is not a small margin. It is a vast ocean of epochs. 1.5 billion years is enough time for life to emerge, evolve, conquer the land, return to the sea, build civilizations, fall into ruin, and be forgotten 100 times over. When Earth was still a molten, chaotic ball of magma, being battered by asteroids and glowing red in the dark, Kepler 452b was already a mature world. It might have already had cool blue oceans. It might have already had clouds drifting over silent continents. When the first simple, single-celled organisms were just beginning to twitch in the primordial soup of Earth, life on Kepler 452b could have been complex. It could have been building reefs, growing forests, or taking its first steps onto dry land. This age difference gives us something precious. It gives us hope. We often worry about the fragility of planets. We worry that biospheres are delicate, easily destroyed by asteroids or solar flares, or the changing chemistry of the air. But Kepler 452b stands as a testament to endurance. It has survived. It has circled its star 6 billion times. It has weathered the storms of its youth and entered the stable wisdom of its old age. It suggests that Earth-like worlds are not just temporary accidents, they are sturdy vessels. They can carry the flame of life for eons, protecting it through the long, dark night of the galaxy. But age brings change. As a star gets older, it gets brighter. The sun of Kepler 452b is 10% brighter than our sun. It is pouring more energy onto the planet than it did in its youth. This means the planet has had to adapt. If it were exactly like Earth, this extra heat might have boiled the oceans away, turning it into a greenhouse furnace. But because it is a super-Earth, because it has that strong gravity and likely massive volcanoes, it might have regulated itself. Perhaps the clouds have grown thicker to reflect the extra light, acting as a shield. Perhaps the carbon cycle has sped up, burying the heat-trapping gases deep in the rock. The planet might be evolving to keep itself comfortable, like an old house settling into its foundation, shifting to accommodate the changing seasons. Scientists have a term for worlds that might be even better for life than Earth. They call them superhabitable. It is a humbling thought. We assume Earth is the perfect standard, the pinnacle of design. But what if it isn't? What if Earth is just good enough, while a world like Kepler 452b is truly paradise? A world that is older has had more time to perfect its biology. Its ecosystems might be more intricate, more balanced, less prone to collapse. Its forests might be taller, its coral reefs more vibrant. Evolution has had an extra billion years to solve problems, to create symbiotic relationships, to weave a web of life so complex we cannot even imagine it. Maybe, on an elder world, the concept of a predator has vanished, replaced by a system of mutual energy exchange. Maybe the trees share nutrients through a planet-wide root system that acts like a brain. Maybe the atmosphere itself is regulated by the breathing of the biosphere, kept in a state of eternal equilibrium. And then, there is the question of intelligence. If a civilization arose on Kepler 452b when the planet was the same age as Earth is now, that civilization would have appeared 1.5 billion years ago. Where are they now? Did they leave? Did they transcend the need for physical bodies? Did they build great ring worlds around their star? Or did they simply learn to live in perfect harmony with their world, becoming so quiet, so efficient, that they leave no footprint, no radio noise, no pollution? Perhaps the sign of a truly advanced species is not that they conquer the stars, but that they become the gardeners of their own home. Maybe they are there right now, living in cities that grow out of the ground like trees, powered by the light of their ancient sun, watching the universe with eyes full of 1 billion years of wisdom. They would look at Earth, a young, noisy, chaotic planet with the patience of a grandparent watching a toddler. They would know the struggles we are facing. They would know that adolescence is dangerous, but they would also know that survival is possible. Because they are still there. The elder world tells us that the story of life does not have to be short. It does not have to be a brief flash in the pan. It can be a long, steady burn. A planet can be a home for longer than the mountains can stand. As we drift away from Kepler 452b in our imagination, we look back at it one last time. It does not look old. It looks vibrant. The blue is deep and clear. The white clouds are bright. It does not look weary. It looks triumphant. It has won the game of time. And in its victory, it shines a light on our own path. It tells us that we have a future if we can learn to be as resilient, as adaptable, and as patient as the world that looks exactly like ours. Part 6: The Mirror in the Sky. We began this journey in a quiet field under the canopy of the night. Now, let us return there. Feel the grass beneath your feet again. Smell the cool night air. Listen to the silence of the world around you. The journey is ending, but you are not the same person who started it. Slowly, you tilt your head back. You look up into the vast, glittering cathedral of the cosmos. The stars are no longer cold, distant points of light. They are destinations. They are neighbors. You find the constellation of Cygnus, the swan, flying gracefully down the Milky Way, and you focus on that one patch of darkness, that one invisible point where we know with mathematical certainty that a world is spinning. The knowledge changes the feeling of the night. Before, the universe might have felt like a vast empty mansion, with Earth as the only inhabited room. We felt lonely, huddled around our fire, afraid of the dark corridors. But now we know the mansion is full. There are other fires burning in other rooms. There is a room called Kepler 452b with its own furniture, its own window, its own stories. We are not the only planet with a sunset. We are not the only planet with a horizon. We are not the only planet where the rain washes the dust from the air. This realization brings a profound sense of comfort. It lifts the burden of solitude from our shoulders. We are part of a family of rocky worlds, huddled in the warmth of yellow stars, protecting our fragile cargoes of water and air. There is a planet that looks exactly like Earth. Let those words repeat in your mind like a mantra. It means that beauty is universal. The blue of the ocean is not a local accident, it is a cosmic favorite. The white of the clouds is a masterpiece painted on canvases all across the galaxy. It means that the feeling of home is not unique to us. Somewhere else, a creature might be looking up at its sky, feeling the same awe, the same curiosity, the same longing to know if it is alone. And in a way, by looking at each other across the void, we are answering that question. We are answering it with our presence. As you stand there in the dark, you might feel a sense of smallness. But it is not a sad smallness. It is the smallness of being a single note in a grand, beautiful symphony. You do not have to be the whole song. It is enough to be part of the music. The universe is vast, yes. It is ancient, yes. But it is not indifferent. It goes to great lengths to build places like Earth. It gathers the dust, it lights the stars, it mixes the chemicals, it guards the temperature. It is a maker of homes. And so, as we close our eyes and let the image of that distant twin world fade, we are left with a feeling of connection. The light from Kepler 452b is falling on you right now. It is faint, almost imperceptible, but it is there. It has traveled 1400 years to touch your face. It is a ghost of a touch, a whisper from a brother world. Receive it. And know that as long as the stars burn, as long as the planets spin, we are never truly alone in the dark. There is another Earth. There is another hope. There is another dream spinning silently in the light of another sun. And that is enough. Good night. Part 7. The Sails of Light. The dream does not end when we close our eyes. It travels. It expands. And though we have accepted the vast distance between us and our twin, the human spirit is a restless thing. It is not content to simply look, it wishes to touch. So, Let us drift deeper into the imagination. Let us construct a ship in our minds, a vessel capable of crossing the 14th century ocean that separates Earth from Kepler 452b. This is not a ship of fire and noise. Rockets, with their roaring engines and burning fuel, are creatures of violence, suited only for the short hops between neighbor planets. To cross the deep void, we need something gentler. We need a ship that breathes the silence. Imagine a sail, not a sail of canvas, heavy and rough, but a sail made of material thinner than a soap bubble, wider than a city, shimmering like a mirror in the dark. It unfolds in the vacuum, a vast silver flower blooming in the silence. There is no wind in space, but there is light. The photons from the sun, tiny packets of pure energy, strike the mirror. Each one is a gentle push, a microscopic kiss of force. Alone, it is nothing. But together, in their trillions, they create a pressure. The ship begins to move, slowly at first. So slowly you wouldn't even notice it leaving the dock of the Earth's orbit. But it accelerates. Day after day, year after year, the light pushes it faster and faster until it is gliding on a beam of pure luminance, riding the breath of the sun into the deep dark. Let us imagine what it would be like to be a passenger on such a journey. It would be a journey of generations. The people who stepped onto the ship would not be the ones to step off. They would be the ancestors, the seeds. Inside the ship, life would be a quiet, rotating cycle. There would be gardens, vast hydroponic forests spinning to create gravity. The air would smell of damp soil and tomato vines, a scent of earth preserved in a metal shell. The only sound would be the hum of the ventilation and the soft rustle of leaves. To live on this ship would be to live in a monastery of the stars. You would be born between worlds. You would never see the Earth of your grandfathers, and you would never see the twin Earth of your grandchildren. You would be the keeper of the middle passage. Your life would be dedicated to maintenance and memory. You would tend the gardens. You would fix the filters. You would teach the children the history of a blue planet they have only seen in pictures, a planet called Earth, the origin. And outside, the view would change with agonizing slowness. For the first 100 years, the sun would still be the brightest star, a beacon behind you. But slowly it would fade. It would shrink until it was just another diamond in the velvet bag of the sky. The ship would pass through the Oort cloud, the graveyard of comets. Great frozen mountains of ice, drifting in the absolute zero, silent sentinels watching you pass. You might see them glinting in the starlight, ghostly white shapes in the black. Then, the true deep begins. The interstellar medium, the space between stars, is not empty. It is filled with a thin mist of hydrogen, dust, and wandering atoms. The ship, moving at a fraction of the speed of light, would glide through this mist like a canoe on a still lake at midnight. There would be a profound sense of peace. No news from Earth would reach you. No wars, no politics, no noise. Just the ship, the garden, and the stars. Generations would pass. Languages might drift and change. New myths would be born. Myths about the metal shell that protects them. Myths about the destination, the promised land of Kepler 452b. They would tell stories of the twin. They would paint murals of what they think it looks like. They would dream of the gravity, the heavy pull of the super-Earth that their bones have never felt. They would train their bodies for it, wearing weighted suits, preparing for a homecoming to a home they have never known. And then, after 1,000 years, the deceleration begins. The great silver sail is turned around. It catches the light of the new star, the star of Kepler 452b. The light from the destination acts as a brake, slowing the ship down, cushioning its fall into the system. The passengers, the distant descendants of the original crew, would crowd the viewing decks. They would see the star growing brighter. It is a yellow star, familiar, warm, welcoming. And then the planet appears. Not as a dot, but as a sphere, a marble of blue and white hanging in the dark. They would see the clouds, they would see the oceans, they would see the continents. Imagine the silence on the deck as they look upon it, the completion of a 1,000-year prayer. the realization that the universe has caught them. They would descend. The ship would enter the atmosphere, the heat shields glowing. And finally, the landing struts would touch the alien soil. The hatch would open. The air would rush in, thick, oxygen-rich, smelling of strange rain and unknown earth. And as they stepped out, feeling the heavy gravity pulling at their limbs, they would look up at the sky. A blue sky, a familiar sky. They would plant a flag, not of conquest, but of reunion, a message that says, "We have crossed the dark. We are the children of Earth, and we have come to meet our brother." This is the dream of the sails of light. It is a dream of patience, of trust, of a journey that transcends a single human lifespan. It reminds us that we are capable of long-term thinking, of planting trees whose shade we will never sit in. Part 8. The Cosmic Shore. But let us return to the present. Let us return to the stillness of our own room, to the quiet of our own night. The generation ships have not been built. The sails of light are still just equations on a chalkboard. We are still here, rooted to this earth. And yet, we are already travelers. We are traveling through time. Every second is a movement forward. Every heartbeat is a step into the future. And as we travel, the universe travels with us. The discovery of Kepler 452b is not just a scientific data point. It is a mirror for our souls. It forces us to ask, what is it that we value? If we found that twin world, and if we found that it was empty, a beautiful, verdant garden with no one to walk in it, would we see it as a resource? A place to mine? A place to colonize? Or would we see it as a sanctuary? A park on a galactic scale, left wild and untouched, a testament to life's ability to flourish without us. And if we found it inhabited? If we found that there were beings there looking up at their sky, perhaps telling stories about the blue star, that is our sun, then the universe becomes a community. It becomes a place of shared experience. Even if we never trade goods, even if we never shake hands, the shared experience of being alive, of being conscious, of struggling and loving and dreaming under the light of a G-type star, that is a bond. It suggests that the universe is not designed for loneliness, it is designed for life. As you lie here, letting the thoughts of the documentary settle, feel the gravity of Earth holding you. It is a gentle hand, pressing you into your bed, keeping you safe. Think of the atmosphere above you, the blanket of air that protects you from the cold vacuum. Think of the magnetic field, the invisible shield arching overhead, deflecting the solar wind. We live in a fortress of luck, a miracle of physics. And 1400 light years away, there is another fortress, another miracle. Maybe, at this very moment, a creature on Kepler 452b is drifting to sleep. Maybe the heavy gravity of their world makes their sleep deeper, heavier, more grounded. Maybe they are dreaming of flying, escaping the weight of their super-Earth. Maybe they are dreaming of us. The cosmos is ashore. We are standing on one beach, looking out at the dark water. They are standing on another beach, far away across the night. The waves of light roll between us, carrying images, carrying time. We may never cross that water, but we can see the bonfire on the other side. We can see the signal fire burning in the Cygnus constellation. And that fire tells us, keep going, keep watching, keep wondering. The universe is full of homes. We are just one of many. And in the silence of the night, that is a comforting thought. We are part of a great, silent, sleeping neighborhood of worlds. So, let the stars watch over you. Let the twin worlds spin in its distant silence. You are here. You are safe. You are home. Sleep well.